They don't stay broke because the world is unfair. They stay broke because they've accepted the world as it is, because they've handed over the keys to their own mind, locked the doors of possibility, and then blamed the storm outside for the darkness inside. You were not born to suffer. You were not born to obey. You were not born to wait for permission from a world that never intended to grant you one. Most people, they've already been hypnotized by mediocrity, sold a script called realistic, taught to trade their dreams for debt, their ambition for weekends, their imagination for compliance. They stay broke, not because of a lack of opportunity, but because they lack the mindset to even see one. Because while they scroll, while they gossip, while they sleep in and hit snooze on life, the winners are up. The winners are silent. The winners are building. You want the truth? Most people aren't broke because of economics. They're broke because of energy. They're spiritually bankrupt. Their confidence is under foreclosure, and their daily habits have been auctioned off to the lowest bidder. Their emotions. If your mornings are decided by your mood, your wealth will always be decided by your wounds. And if you can't lead yourself, don't expect to lead your life. Let me say it loud enough to wake up every part of you that's been lying dormant. You do not fix your bank account until you fix your belief account. You do not touch success until you first confront survival. And you don't rise to power until you divorce the poverty inside your mind. This is the wake up call the world doesn't want you to hear. Because when you realize that wealth is not an inheritance, it's a declaration, you stop waiting for a raise and start raising your standards. Ask yourself right now, what part of you is keeping you poor? What belief are you still protecting that says you're not worthy of more? Who convinced you that comfort was better than conquest? Listen, Henry Ford wasn't rich when he started. He was ridiculed. They laughed at his vision of mass production. But Ford had something far more powerful than money. He had conviction. And conviction, when wielded correctly, is the greatest currency known to man. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination. Let that echo in your bones the next time someone tells you you're not enough. Your future is not determined by approval. It's carved out by persistence. And still, most people wait. They wait for motivation. They wait for signs. They wait until they feel ready. They wake and life doesn't, because life does not reward hesitation. It rewards hunger. It rewards vision backed by violent clarity. It rewards those who are willing to move when everyone else stands still. The truth is, most people stay broke because they've mistaken movement for progress. They're busy but not intentional. They work, but they don't build. They chase, but they don't attract. Wealth is not built by chasing money. It's built by becoming a person of such irrefutable value. The world has no choice but to respond. It's built by becoming uncommon in a world that worships average. It's built by doing the things others won't, when no one's watching, when it's boring, when it's uncomfortable. Because success isn't sexy, success is silent. Discipline isn't about being harsh. It's about being free. You think freedom is doing what you want. No, freedom is earning the power to choose. Freedom is knowing that no man, no company, no boss can ever put a ceiling on your soul again. And the only way you get there is by taking brutal responsibility for everything in your life. Yes, everything. Even the things you didn't ask for. Even the setbacks, the betrayals, the trauma. Because the minute you take ownership, you regain control. And when you take control, your wealth, your purpose, your future, they all come back into your hands. That's why they stay broke. Because blame feels better than building. Because victimhood is more addictive than victory. Because scrolling is easier than strategy. But not you, not after this. Because if you're still here, still listening, then some part of you is waking up. The part that's tired of excuses. The part that's hungry. The part that's dangerous. And I'll tell you right now, dangerous is exactly what you need to become. Dangerous to doubt. Dangerous to distractions. Dangerous to the life that tried to put you in a box. You want to stop being broke. Then stop making weak decisions. Stop negotiating with fear. Stop surrounding yourself with people who treat ambition like a disease and mediocrity like a virtue. Raise your circle, or raise your tolerance for losing, because your environment isn't just where you live, it's what you allow. Look around you. Every object in your room, every app on your phone, every person in your contact list is either pulling you closer to your potential or dragging you into the mud of repetition. It's binary. You're either building your dream or building someone else's. That's the line. And the wealthy, they stopped straddling it a long time ago. They chose, they made a decision, and never looked back. Because the moment you decide who you are, the world begins to rearrange itself around that belief. Most people stay broke because they've never decided. They live in maybes. They dwell in someday. They flirt with change, but never marry commitment. And life, it only moves for those who move with authority. You want to rise. Then your decisions need to be final. No more quitting when it gets hard. No more changing your plan because it didn't go viral. No more asking small minds for permission to dream big. Let me be clear. Your goals don't care about your feelings. Success does not respond to emotion. It responds to alignment. It responds to discipline. It responds to who you become in the silence, in the grind, in the unseen hours when everyone else is watching TV, and you're building your empire from the inside out. You say you want wealth. Then let's redefine wealth. Wealth is not just money. It's freedom. It's power. It's clarity. It's peace. True wealth is walking into any room and knowing you owe no one anything. Because you've built it all with your own hands, your own mind, your own relentless refusal to be average. Wealth is ownership of your time, of your thoughts, of your direction. But ownership is not gifted. It's forged. And most people stay broke because they want rewards without risk. They want applause without action. They want six-figure lives with $10 habits. You think waking up early is hard. Try waking up broke for the rest of your life. Try looking your kids in the eyes and realizing you passed on your excuses instead of your excellence. Let that settle in. You were meant to be the chain breaker, the generational curse stopper, the first millionaire in your family. But it won't happen by chance. It happens by choice. And most will never make that choice because they've confused being liked with being legendary. You don't get to be both. You don't get to live for the crowd and rise above the crowd at the same time. That's why you've got to learn to walk alone, build alone, believe alone, before the results come, before the recognition, before the evidence. Because it's not just about wealth. It's about who you become in pursuit of it. The man or woman who doesn't flinch in the face of pressure, who doesn't collapse when life hits back, who doesn't let failure rewrite their future. Look around. Look at your life. Every dollar you have, or don't have, is a direct reflection of how you've been thinking, not feeling, thinking. You're either thinking in limitations or possibilities, scarcity or scale, fear or fire. You want to win, then you've got to do what 97% won't. Think for yourself, invest in yourself, back yourself, every single day, even when you're tired, even when no one claps, even when the results are invisible, because success is invisible. Until it's not, it grows underground first. It shows up in small choices. What you read, what you eat, who you follow, how you speak. And most people, they never get there because they want the fruit without growing the root. They want the spotlight without mastering the shadows. But not you. Because you're learning the truth. It's not the job, it's not the economy, it's not your past, it's your philosophy, your standards, your beliefs. You were taught to live within your means. Wrong. Expand your means, multiply your means, control your means. You were taught to work hard. Fine. But you better be working hard on the right things. Because hard work is only noble when it builds freedom, not when it just pays bills. You were told money doesn't buy happiness. Tell that to someone working 3 jobs just to survive. Tell that to a mother who can't afford health care. Tell that to someone with vision but no vehicle. Money doesn't make you happy, but it gives you options. And options are the foundation of freedom. So yes, build wealth. Not just for the things, for the power. The power to say no. The power to walk away. The power to live life on your terms. That's why you can't think like everyone else. You have to protect your mindset like your life depends on it, because it does. Your mind is the vault. Your words are the code. Your habits are the key. And if you don't program yourself for success, the world will program you for survival. Wake up, because they are trying to sedate you with entertainment, with distractions, with dopamine addictions, with false gurus and get-rich-quick lies. The truth is simple. Wealth is boring. It's predictable. It's disciplined. It's daily. But mediocrity, that's loud. That's busy. That's emotional. That's most people. Don't be most people. You're not here to play small. You're not here to blend in. You're here to build something eternal. Something your bloodline will remember. Not because of luck, but because you were the one who refused to settle. Let the world laugh. Let them misunderstand you. You're not here to fit in. You're here to break out of the trap, out of the comfort zone, out of the lies. And when they say you've changed, you say, damn right I did, because the old version of you was broke, mentally, emotionally, financially, and you killed that version with belief, with focus, with fire. Let's end the excuses right here. If you're broke, it's not because you're unlucky. It's because no one ever taught you how to think rich, how to act rich, how to move like someone who expects abundance, not begs for scraps. Understand this: money is not moral or immoral. It's not emotional. It doesn't care who has it. It flows to structure. It flows to certainty. It flows to the man or woman who understands it's a tool, not a god. And most people, they stay broke because they worship money instead of mastering it. They chase it emotionally. They spend it thoughtlessly. They fear it secretly. They avoid learning about it because it reminds them of what they don't have. But not you. You're stepping into the truth. You're rewriting the script. You're realizing that staying broke is more than just a financial condition. It's a mindset illness. And you're done being sick. You're done blaming your city. You're done blaming your parents. You're done blaming the government. You are the government of your life now. Repeat that. You are the government of your life. You write the laws. You set the taxes. You build the infrastructure. You secure the borders of your mind from doubt, fear, and mediocrity. And from now on, the law is growth or die. Build or be forgotten. Own or be owned. Multiply or stay minimal. Because the world doesn't reward potential. It rewards proof. The man who thinks like a king becomes a king. The woman who moves like a queen builds an empire. But the broke, they sit, they wait. They complain, they scroll. They consume more than they create. You weren't born for that. You were born to own. Own your mind. Own your habits. Own your outcomes. You know what separates winners from the world? Winners outlast the process. They show up when it's hard. They study while others sleep. They run toward challenge. Not because it's easy, but because it's required. And success. Success is predictable. You plant, you water. You wait, grow. But broke people, emotionally broke, financially broke, spiritually broke, refuse the wait. They want speed over mastery. They want reaction over responsibility. They want miracles, not methods. But methods work. And if you find one that does, run it like a machine until your future is built. Most people fail because they start and stop and start again. They waste more energy pivoting than they do progressing. They sabotage momentum with distraction, doubt, and drama. You want to rise, then lock in. Get so consistent, the world has no choice but to hand you the crown. Get so committed, your own fears get tired of chasing you. Get so aligned that abundance becomes inevitable. Because, listen closely, money is a slave. You are the master. And when you stop worshiping what should serve you, you take back your crown. You build wealth not just to prove a point, but to fulfill a purpose. Because when you have power, you can elevate others. You can change lives. You can fund dreams. You can create legacy. That's the final truth no one tells you. The ultimate flex isn't what you buy, it's what you build. It's who you free. It's how many people you lift. It's how unshackable your foundation becomes, so that even if the world burns, you stand. So stop asking how long it'll take. Start asking who you need to become to sustain it once it arrives. Because wealth that comes fast but sits on a weak mindset will collapse. But wealth that's earned through growth, through struggle, through late nights and early mornings, that's fortress money, unbreakable, unshakable, untouchable. You don't need more motivation. You need a new identity. Stop calling yourself broke. Stop calling yourself unlucky. Stop saying, someday. Your life moves when your language shifts, when your posture changes, when your thinking evolves. You are not a try, but you are a builder. You are a finisher. You are a closer. You are someone who walks into the room and raises the temperature. You're not here to chase money. You're here to become the person to whom money must respond. Burn the plan B. Break the safety net. Silence the critics. And bet on the only investment that will never fail you. You want the secret to never being broke again. Here it is. Think big. Act bold. Work relentlessly. Adapt fast. Invest wisely. Own everything. Blame nothing. Repeat. The game is rigged against the weak, so become strong. This is your moment. This is your mission. This is your wealth awakening. From this point forward, you will never be broke again, because you are not a follower anymore. You are the creator, the architect, the commander, the one who refused average, the one who saw the trap and stepped over it. The broke mindset is dead. The wealthy identity is born. And this is just the beginning.